go get my cake up. I don't break up the makeup. You know that I'm out here. It's time to wake up and go get my cake up. Ain't taking no pickup. You know that I'm wildin'. It's time to wake up and go get my cake up. I don't break up the makeup. You know that I'm out here. I cannot fucking pretend those. Getting money through the Venmo. I'm a real Uncle Phil nigga. You were Urkel when your wind's low. I was hurt and I prayed. Niggas left but I stayed. Now I'm back at the engine right. The nigga still standing one place. Let the niggas I'm moving. Nigga, what the fuck was you doing? Same 24, same 7 days. How the fuck is you losing?
There we go. What's up? Sorry about that. I usually use Zoom for this, but I got a recommendation to try out StreamYard, and I'm still getting it all together. So how is your day going?
Mine is good.
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm great, actually. I have not slept yet, so I've been working all night. Some new ideas, things I need to work on, but I'm feeling good. Where are you from? Is it snowing where you are?
Yes, I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn, actually. So it's coming down again. We had a snowstorm last week.
Yeah,
I'm in New York.
I'm in New Jersey.
So snow on snow.
I feel your pain. I shovel snow, so I'm kind of excited, but I literally just got done shoveling all these houses, and my body's still recovering. Like, that last snowstorm was so heavy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Shana. Where we? I didn't catch.
I said I'm in upstate New York. I'm in Troy.
So are those two close by, Troy and?
I'm like 3 hours. I'm about 3 hours from her.
Yeah, 3 hours.
I'm pretty far from both of you. So we're all authors. I'll explain the show a little bit, and I'll let you guys introduce yourself. Well, let you ladies, my apologies, introduce yourselves. I just wanted to be able to network with other authors. Sometimes it feels like we're living on a different planet. It's hard for people to understand how authors think, where we're kind of coming from. And I think especially what made us decide to choose writing books versus some people do music and poetry as well, but versus screenplays, versus becoming a musician, versus becoming a painter. How do we get to the point that we are now? So Allison, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I am Allison Grace. I am a published author, serial entrepreneur. I'm also now a magazine publisher. I've been in the literary industry for, probably over a decade now. I am the author of 7 books.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And I'm working on my 8th and 9th simultaneously.
Nice.
I also am the managing editor of a literary magazine, Intellectual Ink magazine, and the partner to Sticky Situations, which is an erotic anthology with my business partner, Julie Simmons.
I dig it.
So I've got a lot on my plate.
What did you say that you did for 10 years?
I'm an author.
Okay, so you've been published for 10 years.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Miss Shana Gourdine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, and my name is actually pronounced Shana Gourdine. And I am an author. I've been actually February 22nd will be 2 years as being an author. Nice. So my anniversary is coming up. I'm the author of on The Mask Behind the Mask, Unveil the Broken Pieces of a Mask. I am also a writer for Blessings Magazine. I'm also a podcast host for The Rundown, Feel Good Talk, and Victory, Walking in Your Victory. I also blog. I produced a movie during COVID. It's called Through Your Eyes. It's a documentary referring to domestic violence and bringing awareness to it. I'm a mother of 2. I am also an entrepreneur. I am the founder of Chino Master Motivation, where I do my motivational speaking, my seminars, my workshops, my conferences, my mentorship, my life coaching, and market branding. What else is I have several books that I am collabing in this year, so I'll be having a few books coming out this year with other people. I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a poet. I had actually a song I was featured in that came out last month. It's called Deuces.
I heard that actually.
It's Office Boys. Yeah, a woman of many hats, I could say.
I pray both of you get rich.
And an advocate for chronic illness. There we go. I think I have it.
Are you sure there's no more titles?
At the moment.
So I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, and Daenerys just came on, and she has like 50 different titles. Every time they introduce her, you got to name every single title of the queen. I dig it.
That's how we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be proud of it. Absolutely. What brought both of you into I don't usually ask questions, but both of you said magazine, so I have to ask a question about that. What brought you both into publishing magazines?
I had a conversation with my business partner, and we never really had a literary magazine. There are so many people that reach out to me on a daily basis asking me about publishing tips and, where can I find a good editor, and how can I do this and how can I do that? So, we talked about it, we brainstormed, and we decided that we would bring that to the forefront. We would create a literary magazine that not only gives information, but speaks on things that inspires the magazine, health and wellness and beauty and fashion. A lot of these things are talked about in the book, so it really made sense to also bring them into the magazine. No one wants to just read a literary magazine. And we talk about these things on a daily. So why not incorporate that with, things that are actually in a magazine. So we decided to do that. We have author interviews. We have recipes. We speak about new and upcoming entrepreneurs in our Boss Up section. We have Who's Next, the next hottest author. So it's very diverse, and we are absolutely proud of it. This month's issue is available now on Amazon, and it has the incomparable T. Styles and VP of Cartel Publications. We also have a tribute to the late, great Eric Jerome Dickey, and we are absolutely proud of it. So we're doing well.
He was actually one of my biggest inspirations when I first got started writing. He had a series called the Gourdine series.
Yes.
That was like one of the first series that I read that I felt fully involved and delved with as a Black man. Everything else was like people. And it was great seeing a protagonist dealing with an anti-hero. I don't know what you call Gideon. He tries to do the right thing at least. And it was just really amazing seeing that. But he went away way too young. I would have loved to see a lot more work for him. But I'm glad he's one of the few people that got his roses while he was alive.
Yeah.
It's good to see that he got honored and got respected. He wrote Black Panther as well. So I think it's kind of heartbreaking that him and Chad Boswick kind of went. I think I fucked up.
Yeah. He has a book coming out.
Boswick, my apologies. I want to say your name.
Think of Zena and Sheena. It's Sheena. It's spelled like Shana, but it's pronounced Sheena.
Sheena Gourdine.
Yes.
Okay, great. What brought you into writing magazines or publishing magazines, rather?
The Blessed Magazine is my co-host from the Rundown. So we actually did this event called Empowerment Woman Benefits. So we decided that we wanted to put together magazines to where people can get different information from, like recipes. My part is called Ingredients from the Soul. So I write in there, different things that people just can take in and ingredients and be sold with my words. You have people that do holistic things. You have people that's writing, giving advice. It's just different parts of it. We have advertisements in it, poetry in it. It's a little bit of everything. So we just wanted to give something back to have people just to be educated, empowered, and, sourceful.
Biggest facts. So I'm trying to get in context because my first time hearing about these. Are these both e-magazines, or is there also like a physical publication available as well?
I know Blessings is also on Amazon, but it's also on Blurb, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But I can always send you the link.
Our magazine is available quarterly on our website for free and on Amazon for $6.99. So
what is the website?
Intellectualinc.com.
One more time.
Intellectualinc.com.
I like that name.
Thank you.
Facts. So don't speak at once. The floor is open. I can't just keep asking questions. I'm a writer too, I got I don't know. What was you've been doing this. So I just saw both of you on JC's show. So I'm not trying to poach his guests or anything, but this is a very different format.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys, this is just open-ended discussion.
Okay.
I don't have a million questions to ask, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
This is a very casual, laid-back event. So both of you are members of the Multicultural Writers Collective as well. Is there anything that you're looking from the group that it's not currently providing you?
No, I'm not.
How do we make it better? Because I'm the leader of it, high key, and I'm just like, I want this to be the greatest group on Facebook. Like, for real.
Yeah.
We've already had a case where, like, I'm not going to go into it too deep because I don't like spilling people's business when it's not mine. But having to deal with someone's publication issues, their publisher wasn't going to pay them for 2 years, and having to step in and be like, hey, can't you pay their parents or something? And the person got upset. And now we got to teach this person everything from the ground level about publication and publishing because they don't know anything. Like, this is hard.
That is the purpose of Intellectual Inc. magazine. Because we need to inform people. Read your contracts. That is most important.
Facts.
Read your contracts. Read everything. Understand how to get your rights back. Understand how long the contracts last. Understand if it's a whole, if it's a paperback, an ebook. When can you get your rights reverted back to you? How to get an ISBN number, how to get the barcode, how to get it into hi, how you doing? How to get it into the bookstores, things like that. And also to show the path of other authors, whether independent or mainstream. We need to inform people because there are a lot of people that want to tell their story, but they're unable to. I'm also in Clubhouse and I hear a lot and I see a lot. So I've been in this industry for a very long time.
Yeah, 10 years definitely makes you a vet.
And I was a reviewer. So it's not like, I just decided to write a book. I was on the other side. So I know, I use that experience. So how am I going to price my books? Am I going to want to read this? I'm not going to get, a pamphlet, 25 pages and charge $9.99 for it. That's counterproductive and it's not even worth the paper.
That would definitely destroy your brand before you make
it. Right. So you have, and people have to be cognizant and understand. And also Amazon. Amazon is a monster. It is a monopoly. And you have to learn to work the system. You have to learn how to manipulate it for your greater good. If you have one book, do not put that in the KDP system. Just sell it for a good amount, $1.99, 200 pages or more. Get the word out there. People will buy it. Make sure you buy your paperbacks from Create Space. And make sure you sell that so you can get all of your money. Once you develop 4 or more books, then take one book and put it in KDP so people can get
introduced to you.
Right. People can get introduced to you. You can even put that for free because you have those other books to live off of. You want people to see your catalog, and you develop a catalog once you have 3 or more books. That's my opinion, because one book is not something that you can actually live off of. You have to have residuals. You want to have one book here and one book there. So if you put one book out for people to be introduced to, then you can have the 2 or 3 or 4 books that go after that, and people will say, hey, I want to read this.
Yeah, they want
And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have a gazillion orders. And it's going to be like, wait a minute, what's going on? I also press, don't stop going, simply because that book that you have, keep writing it, keep pushing out books, because you're developing your brand, you're developing your legacy. And the moment you want to stop is that time your breakthrough is going to happen.
That's true. Every single time I've been at that point where I'm like, let me take a step back. Even just lately when I was shoveling snow, I went from making about $90 to making $200 just like that.
Nice.
I didn't want to quit. You always find your blessings on the other side. You said 2 things that I want to relate to with the same story. You said one thing about knowing whether or not it's a paperback or a hardcover copy. And you said another thing about the pricing. So I just released a new book in November called For the Crown of Nadia. That's my 7th book out. I got an 8th book coming. And I don't like Amazon. I feel like Amazon's a monster, but I feel like it's a monster that has it's like a shark that has all these little fish biting on it. I started back in 2014, 2015. So I think that's about 5 or 6 years now that I've been working at this. And using Amazon, I know for a fact I don't get all my money. I know for a fact they don't help you market unless you're in Kindle Select. They don't help you market anything unless you do the Amazon promotions. So it's like Amazon is just a distribution source. So you should definitely just use it to buy your own author copies and books, sell it yourself. But I'm at the point that I'm focused on distribution right now. I'm trying to get my book out there everywhere I possibly can. So I use Ingram Spark this time. I made the biggest mistake ever. And I thought it'd be so cool to have my first hardcover copy book. And I was so excited about this. And at the end of the day, the book For the Crown of Nadia, it's about 200,000 words right before publication. Yeah, facts. It's an epic.
That's a lot.
I'm in the fantasy category. So it's a whole different standard. I'm competing with Tolkien. I'm competing with George R.R. Martin. It's a whole different battlefield and arena. After publication, it was about 170,000 words, 150,000, just cutting the mark because I cut 2 chapters out. But that was only because the book was priced at $35, not $35, not 35,000, $35 per copy, minimum. So it's make sure that if you're going to take that step, you have enough inventory, you have enough demand in the store for you. Mm-hmm. Most stores won't even pick up your book. You're still competing with. The initial point I wanted to make was the idea that eventually you got to get to a different standard within the world. You should not release a pamphlet for $9.99. I see a lot of books that are 50 pages or 40 pages, and I don't have any issue with that. But I told you the link in my book. It's talking to all these different cultures. Talking to all these different publishers, people at different levels. Because in the group, you got publishers, you have a lot of bestsellers. You got people that are writing 350 books in the same length of time that people are writing 70 pages. Yeah. There's a whole different standard. And I would just want people to be more, when you make certain mistakes like that, people seem to get really offended when they get certain critique. My first review in the book For the Crown of Nadia was a 2-star review. It wasn't a 2-star review because they didn't like the writing. It wasn't a 2-star review because of the marketing. It was a 2-star review because I didn't release an ebook. They could only buy a $20 hardcover copy, and they gave a 2-star review for that.
It's not valid. Don't worry about that. It's not valid.
I don't get that. No,
that's an opinion. Somebody gave me a 1-star review because they said that my book was an ebook, and why am I pricing it at $5.99 when it's only 70 pages? Guess what? I had to respond to that, which I never do. And I said, this is Amazon standard. My actual paperback is 289 words. So the way how they convert it caused it to look like it's like 70 something. That's not my problem. That's their formatting. So when I have an ebook for $4.99 or $3.99 and you don't want to pay for it, like that's not my problem. My book, my actual hardcover book, and I think I did like a live or a video or something. I show people, and everyone was like floored. They were like, these reviewers, they make things up. They find a reason not to like the book, and not everyone's gonna like it. But guess what? I had people when I wrote my first book in 2009. I developed some really hardcore readers, and people, you'll always find your tribe. I'm learning you will always find your tribe.
Very true.
People will come and look for you. I have so many inboxes. Like, when is this book coming out? We've been waiting. You working on this. And I'm like, it's coming. And I said, you know what? I'm doing myself a disservice, and I'm doing other people a disservice by having them hit me up and ask me. The demand is great, but you actually want them to have the book because they're looking for it. They want it. You don't want them to lose interest. I don't know, because it's like a catch-22. That's the fact that they're looking for me. I definitely want to deliver, but you also have to understand that with Amazon, it's not necessary to read the book for them. For them to have the book. You have to read it now to get paid.
Facts.
Back in the day when I first started, it was based on how many people bought. Now it's based on, because they totally screwed up the algorithm, it's how many page reads. So people, I can get all the page reads in the world. I can get all the purchases in the world. So you actually download it and start flipping the pages. That's when I get paid.
That's crazy. That's wicked.
It is, because I'm telling you, when my very first my very first large check from Amazon was probably like almost $1,000, and I was super happy because it was my third book, and I pushed that hard. I'm telling you, I was pushing it everywhere. I was in groups and like, oh, check out this book, and this book was a really smutty book. It was my third book, Bittersweet. And it had a naked girl on the cover. Like, everybody was just
That's how you get it.
Everybody was going crazy over it, and it brought up a lot of controversy. But then I started seeing people rocking my covers.
Mm-hmm.
I had a profile picture, and I was like, okay, that's different. That's how you're gonna be supporting me. So everyone was changing their profile picture in support. So it was getting so much visibility. Like, who's this? And who's this? And what's this author? And what's this book? And what's it coming out? And then it finally came out. I was able to drop it on Black Friday. Now, everybody's getting Kindles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I did it. They downloaded it into their phone. And then for Christmas, I lowered the price. See, I had a great marketing strategy. For Christmas, I lowered the price. So like a couple days, it dropped. It was for free, and then it went up a little bit with the Amazon system, and people bought it. And then I got a check in February for that month, November, December, and I was like, oh my God, like I can really make money. I can literally make money off of these books. I was like, all right, so I need to be persistent and consistent.
That's good. Be persistent and consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have any nuggets of wisdom?
See, mine is a little different. I published my book, but I make more of my money as far as motivational speaking, because my book is poetry and spoken words, but my mission is to talk about domestic violence, and it's a lot of things that people don't talk about in the red flags. And like you said, the more you market, the more you be able to get your money, and it's all about getting knowing your audience as well. Mm-hmm. And it's about, picking the right timing on when you're going to talk about it too as well. Because like when I first dropped my book, I ended up on the Channel 9 News out here because they saw my article in the front of the newspaper. So it was just like, when I first came out, I was trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to promote this book? Because I'm an independent author. So I self-published it myself. So I'm like, all right, I don't have a marketing team. What am I going to do? So what I did was I went to the newspaper. I went to the anchors and, sent them my book. I was in people inboxes like, hey, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. So, I just really put myself out there. And from there, it went from me putting myself out there to now people are in my inbox asking me for interviews. So it's all about, like she said, keep going. Don't stop. Even when you get no, you keep going. If you say today, somebody's going to tell you yes eventually.
That's the biggest facts. I was actually thinking about that today, about the concept of having faith over compromise. Is that early on, I found myself constantly trying to take ways to substitute a job, focusing on the business, working at a job, focusing on family, focusing on work, and then completely ignoring the business, and then having months of like this lingering feeling that I'm not focusing on something that I should be doing. And it's like, had I just had the faith when I first began the journey, and I had my faith maximized at the beginning, instead of having to need all these results, having to take all these classes, spending all these years learning all this stuff. And I wouldn't have gained the faith without that either, so I would readily admit that. But having that sense of faith and like courageousness within yourself, because I see a lot of people talking about, how do I go full-time as an author? And it's like, I don't think they understand even what they mean by that. It's like going full-time into something is giving something 40 hours of your day. 40 hours of your week. You got 168 hours in your week. So if you just want to put in 40 hours, you can do whatever the hell you want in the other 128 hours. That doesn't mean that these 40 hours are converted, like Miss Allison Grace said, to $1,000 a month or $1,000 in royalties and revenues at the end of the month. I feel like sometimes we distract ourselves with a lot of busy work. We put a lot of time in, but that real sense of energy, that real sense of focus, that real sense of strategy to have planned things out a few months in advance. This is how I'm going to manage the money, and creating that sense of internal discipline. I think people have like an illusion when they think about an author, they think about what we do. And it's like, it takes a great deal of discipline to finish a book of any length or any size, to have cohesive thoughts and to have disciplined sense of dialogue, even to write poetry. It doesn't always convert to money though. It's like, you have to really understand the market. This is just my advice to any new authors who might be stumbling about it. You have to make your book marketable before you even start writing the book.
Absolutely.
But I didn't start doing it. It makes sense like afterwards, but when you first start writing, I think to finish the first book you ever write, you have to write for yourself. I think if you want to make a living out of this, you gotta have the faith in your own sense of style, your own sense of niche and genre, wherever you find your audience and your tribe in the market. But your book has to be marketable.
It has to be marketable, but like I said, your tribe will find you. I think, again, you'll do yourself a service if you write for not only yourself, but for anybody else. So I think your first book, you have to figure out what it is you actually want to write about. Is it relatable? Will people understand it? Will people want to pick it up? And how can I learn from it? Not I, you, I, myself, the author. Because your first book is always your mistake. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can call it a mistake, you can call it a lesson. It is your mistake, in quotes. In your very first book, you don't know a whole lot, and you can say, "Oh, well, I've done all my research." Yeah, but there's some things that you don't know. I published my very first book, Broken Promises Never Meant, 4 times before I got it right. 4 times. I started out on Lulu. Then I changed the cover and I did it on CreateSpace. Then I changed the cover again because the formatting I didn't like it. Then I changed the cover again because I changed my name. I did a whole name change. So
you changed the title of the book?
Not the title, the cover. I changed my name.
Okay.
I changed my name. The first time I did it was I gave my full government name. Well, excuse me, I did my pen name, which was SSM. When I first came into this business, anybody knows me on old school, they still call me Essence, and I did that. And you asked me what the M stands for, it stands counting for money. Like Essence Money, yeah, that's me. And Essence was, you know, it became my persona. And it was, I guess this is probably foretelling of magazine, because Essence Magazine was one of the biggest magazines out there. So when you Google Essence, you saw Essence Magazine and you saw me. So you know, that's what I did. I wanted to find a name where it stuck out, and I was really big. Yeah, I was just about to say, I was really big on SEO and, you know, making sure that my name stood out. So I wanted to be very unique. I didn't have a picture in there, so everyone was like, "Oh, look at this book right here," but I was like, "Oh, that's me." And they were like, "No, it's not. You didn't write that." And I was like, "Wait a minute. I put all this time and energy, and you're not going to give me my credit? Take it down and republish. Put my name and my picture, because they were like, Essence M is somebody else. You know, Essence M is me." So then I put my whole government name, and I was like, you know what? That's not going to work either. I didn't want my job involved with anything on that side. So I published it again. And then, you know, I was like, you know what? I need to just do my name. I totally like rebranded. I spent 2 years rebranding myself. Everything was Allison Grace. So that is my name, Allison Grace, and that's what it is. So everything that has been published as going forward has been my name. So, you know, that's something that you have to think about. I started out back in the day with MySpace, and
I remember those.
You remember changing the background, all the pretty pictures, got the music on, got the top 5, and that's how you know, I actually came into the literary industry, because I was messaged by the VP of Cartel Publications, up and coming publishing company, had no idea, you know, how to get started and so forth, but they were building, and they knew well enough to develop a tribe, and it was the street team and the pep squad. So we had our responsibility was to call up these bookstores when we had the brick and mortar and say, hey, do you have shit lists? Do you have this book? Do you have that book? Oh no, you don't have it? Well, when are you gonna have it? And people calling up constantly, and all these requests. And the people in the bookstores are like, what is this book? And why do I need to have it? Okay, I'm gonna request for it.
Yeah.
So now, because of what we're asking, they're getting orders of 10 and 15 books coming into the store, because we're asking about that particular book. There is a demand. It is supply and demand. Okay, that is what they're asking for. So that is what we give them. And we push and we promote, and we got them into libraries, and we got them, you know, we got the name out there. We will also give them books to read and review, because that also brings up your algorithm. I am very, very adamant. Please leave a review, good, bad, or indifferent. Leave your review. 50 Shades of Grey, which is a horrible book, and I don't care who says it.
I don't like that book either.
It is absolutely horrible.
I've never read it, and I've never seen the movie.
Mommy porn is not anything that I have not done in my life, and these people are making it seem like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Guess what? Been there, done that, wrote the book on it. It's fine. But the fact of the matter is that the reviews are in the thousands. 50,000 5-star reviews. 100,000 3-star reviews. 25,000 1-star reviews. It's building up the algorithm, and it builds up so large that people think that this is wonderful. It is just word of mouth that causes it to be so popular. It is just word of mouth that causes it to be changed into a movie. It is just word of mouth that made people want to read it.
It was the man too. It had a definite cult following.
Yes.
I would say 50 Shades of Grey next to Twilight and Harry Potter and Star Wars have built probably the greatest. That's what I meant earlier too, is that you could build your niche and build your tribe.
Yeah.
But the very sense of a niche and tribe is a very small group. When I mean that you have to make your book to be marketable, I mean franchise-wise. It's like you can be marketable by 1,000 people or 10,000 people, and that will feed you for the rest of your life. There's no issue with that. But like I said, I'm trying to compete with people that have touched millions of people. And when you're trying to do that, it's like even with like the concept of when you're trying to query your book to a publisher or you're trying to write a submission to a publishing house, you need to fit. They tell you exactly what it is they're looking for. So it doesn't make sense if someone's saying they want a young adult book meant specifically for teenage girls about puberty. You know, I can't drop a book about a boy buying a car and trying to live out a real estate fantasy and he gets caught by the cops because he has a coke addiction. It's like choosing to misunderstand the market. If you see that people, I just had to make a switch recently. So I had a concept of urban fiction books, but not because of urban fiction books that are written. When I hear urban fiction, I feel like bookstores are going, where do I put the Black people books? So I didn't want to blame myself as an urban fiction writer, but I had a conversation with Arthur Ariki. I'm not really quite sure how to say her name. I can read it and I can spell it for you. It's Ariqui, and she just published like a brand new book that just came out. But we had a conversation about urban fiction, and it's really opened my eyes to it. It's like if I see that urban fiction is selling 1,000 copies every single month, regardless of the author, regardless of the genre, I just see that there's a demand for urban fiction books. What is the point of spending another year not labeling the books? If the books generalize under urban fiction or urban fantasy and they're marketable for urban fiction, urban fantasy readers, why spend another year in book fiction and fantasy? That's what I mean. Like when you first begin writing the book, you should be writing your book to be marketable. You should be writing your book with a reader, like write for yourself, absolutely. But you gotta write with like a reader, and like when someone says, it's such a big commitment to read a book. It could take people a week, it could take people a month. If you have a really good book, sometimes it takes people a day. Reading a book is a huge, especially if you want them to remember your book, you want them to create theories around your book, you want them to ask questions about your book. You gotta sit down with yourself and think. When someone sits down after work, they sit down after watching Game of Thrones or watching Hollywood Housewives or whatever television. What is going to compel them to spend the next 20 minutes to an hour reading my thoughts? And I feel that's where a lot of people fell. Like when I got the 2-star review, I was angry at first, but it made me open and expand my mind because I spent a lot of time in sales and a lot of time in customer service. So my brain is programmed to take objections and turn it into something positive. That's just what's been beaten in me for the past 5 years or so. So when I got it, I was angry at first, but why didn't I release an ebook? Ebook was available. The book's being sold in Australia. The book's being sold in China. The book's being sold in Germany. So there's access to it online globally. There's access to an ebook. But people want to look at your book and they want to, right there, bingo, one click done. You know, they don't want to go through 50,000 steps. And I think sometimes us ourselves, we block ourselves from success. And it can be very small things, like not releasing an ebook. It could be something very small. I see a lot of people. You said you change your cover about 3 to 4 times. I see a lot of people that won't even pay to have someone do the cover because they feel like a cover shouldn't matter. And it's like if you're competing, it's like you're not competing with your mother's attention. You know, yeah, she'll buy a copy for you, even if she reads it or doesn't read it. You're competing with the attention of absolute strangers that don't owe you anything. You know, it's the high. I just got done watching an interview with Christy Mann and Debbie Levison. They do a show on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I think. And this is like the most highest rejection business there is writing books. You're never going to face more rejection in anything else than you do than writing books. So I don't mean like make it marketable just in a sense of ka-ching, ka-ching, money, money. This would be very important to you. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm not in it for the money, but it can cost you anywhere from $150 to $1,000. I know one publishing company, it cost them about $3,000 per book that they publish.
On the track, boy.
I'm $1 million rich, I'm $1 million bitch. You see me win and see me doing $1 million shit. I know you wanna see me cry, but I'm drying up my eyes. No fuck boys, no fake friends, I'm the only one to ride. Look, they say they gon' ride me, you see how I'm living, you don't wanna do it. They say they gon' stop me, but I see that bag and I'm getting right to it. Ballin', ballin', I just get right up and do it. Ballin', ballin', I just made millions with music. I'm not a flexer, but boy, if I flex, I'ma do it. You heard I was next up, so that mean that I'm getting right to it. Stop trying to buy me shit, I already got that in the closet. You was just a side piece, I'm making a day with you, saving your wallet. You know I'm a boss, bitch, so what can you do to come match that? Too thick for these bands in my pocket, so I spent 60K on a backpack. Hair laid, nails done, ayy, shot call in one. I just get right up and ball, bitch. I do not shop at no mall, bitch. They say they looking, they can't find me. No, cause I'm way in front, you behind me. Catch me after 9, I'm a dime piece. Before then, I'm working, I'm grinding. I heard I'm a problem, I heard they gon' rob me. Told them pick a side and stop siding. Cause one day they love you, the next day they hate you. But they just gon' learn if they try it. I'm $1 million rich, I'm $1 million bitch. You see me win and see me doing $1 million shit. I know you wanna see me cry, but I'm drying up my eyes. No fuck boys, no fake friends, I'm the only one to ride. Look, they say they gon' ride me, you see how I'm living, you don't wanna do it. They say they gon' stop me, but I see that bag and I'm getting right to it. Ballin', ballin', I just get right up and do it. Ballin', ballin', I just made millions with music. $1 million.
You know, this is a very expensive game that we're in as well.
It is a business. Books are absolutely a business.
Every single book is
marketable. You have to make it marketable, but again, you have to make sure that you're not doing yourself a disservice. If you write for everybody else, you can get yourself because you're going to sound for everybody else, and you're not going to get the book. You have to develop your own identity. You have to develop your own way of writing because I've been said, oh, people, oh, you trying to be like Zane? No, I just write the way how I write. I find that a wonderful compliment because I find the books amazing, but I'm not just going to, have arbitrary sex. I'm not going to have any arbitrary sex scenes because, it's just something to do. It's just to fill up the pages. I'm not going to do that. Any of my sex scenes that I have, or erotic scenes, they have a purpose. They have a purpose to set the tone for the story, and they're in there to bring some sort of character development. So I'm not going to just, throw scenes on a piece of paper because it sounds good, because that's what the masses are looking for. I'm going to write a book because that's what I want to write. And I tell people this all the time. They ask me, oh, how do you start writing? Write from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes hard.
Yes.
Can you repeat the last thing you said?
Oh no, I said you have to write from your heart. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. I strongly believe, and being as how I was in the industry for so long, I lost my way. I was on hiatus from 2008 to 2020. For 2 years, I didn't pick up a pen and write. My last book was published in 2015. And then I was just like, you know what, to hell with it all. I don't feel like writing anymore. I was just over the industry.
What You're not the first person I've heard. I've heard a lot of people, unfortunately, that feel very similar to that. What makes you like feel? What made you feel that way? That to the point that you were just.
I was burnt out. I had my first book I released in 2009, followed by 6 months later in 2010. Then I released a book in 2012, 2011, 2013, 2015. So I released literally like, if I wasn't releasing a book, I was writing. So I was doing so much. I was doing interviews and going this place, going to the Harlem Book Fair, going to this place, speaking on panels. So I was burnt out. I was doing so much, and I did not feel like I was getting a return on my investment. And then I was also working a full-time job, being a mom, being a wife to be. So it was just a lot going on. And then I was just like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, where's the energy going?
Yeah,
all my energy, I was doing self-care before it was popular.
Mhm.
Not by my own doing. I disappeared for a week. I shut down all social media. I had to disappear. I was in an abusive relationship, and I left. He took my cell phone. I only had my iPad. It was just people were looking for me. I totally shut down everything. So I deleted all my apps off of my phone when I got it back from him. I just was like, I need to just disappear. It was just too much at one time. I needed to get back to me. I was in depression. It was so much going on. So for about a week and a half, I disappeared. And it's so funny because I look up in my memories up until like this week that passed is around the same time it happened. So I'm getting messages and for the memories, and I see, I've been calling you. Where you at? What's going on? How come I keep trying to? And it's like, wow, like
it was really that real.
Yeah, it brings me back to a place where I disappeared, and it's something that sometimes you need to do, and I'm thankful that I did. I tuned out, and I made it so that I got to know me again.
Absolutely, that's beautiful.
And that is why I released my last book, Black Widow, because not only was I dealing with that, but I said, I need to, if this is the last book that I ever release, because at that point he was kind of like stalking me. I was just like, then this is gonna be it. I'm going to release this book, and people are gonna know what happens when you love someone else and you love yourself.
Yes.
But then, I did not have a desire to write. I did not have a desire to write anymore. So that was my last book. But,
I don't want to cut you off at all. I also don't want to underplay your experience, what you've gone through. I hope this is a lot more cathartic an experience for you when you simply relive your past. But I felt that like one period. I felt it a couple times in my career where it's like I wrote my book Best Friends, and that was very intensive about a male perspective of abusive relationships, what it's kind of like on the other side. People don't think men have emotions. People don't think men care about anything. What do men actually feel about relationships and what do we go through? After I wrote that book, I felt kind of done. I didn't feel like I was finished writing, but it's like I had released so much of myself. I had been so raw with how I felt, and I've expanded it. It's an international bestseller. I give it to so many people. I was just like, what else? Because I write mostly for my healing. I write mostly for my own sense of catharsis, or I write to express my joy in a moment or ambitions. After I wrote that one book, Best Friends, and another book, All Health and Success, 2 moments when I finished writing it, like by hand, I had just lost it happened like in October 2018. I just got evicted from my apartment. So I spent all my time trying to make a business work. I spent all my time trying to get rich off being an author, but I had no idea what I was doing. No idea what I was doing to the point that I had to find a new place to live. So I wrote the book Wealth, Health, and Success because when I was going through that, I had no idea how money worked. I had no idea about finances. Most of my friends were socialists or anarchists who didn't care about the economy. And it's like, I can't follow you guys for the rest of my life. I can't take this vow of poverty and be poor forever. So I studied finances and business. I never wanted to live through that again. So I made a hand guide, basically, using my own experience, using a lot of like the dark side of the emotions that I've gone through. The character basically borderline attempts to commit suicide because no one has faith that he can run a business. No one allowing him like the freedom within his life and ambition to just start a business and not have to work a 9 to 5, even if he has to do both at the same time. And it came to a point, you know that saying when they say, if you don't want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, you're not going to make it. Kind of that. After those two experiences, I just felt like, what else is there to write? Is that at all how you felt like after you finished the book, or was it feeling a little different?
I just didn't feel like I felt like I had poured so much into this last book. It was a lot of the phrases, a lot of the dialogue that's in the book that to me. So I literally just poured so much, and because of what happened, it was kind of like I need to pay attention to life. Turn off social media, turn off my phone. It takes 14 days to build a habit and 30 days to create a lifestyle. So, me not having social media, it taught me, spend more time with my kids, spend more time with my parents, cultivate a relationship with my siblings, learn me again.
Absolutely.
A lot happened in a short period of time, and I realized that was not the man for me. And I just wanted to know me, feel pretty again,
have your self-image back.
Yeah, a lot of times
I feel you. I'm not laughing at your pain, but like that's exactly how I feel after one.
Just learn me all over again, because I spent so much time catering to this person that was literally a narcissist and was selfish, a liar, just gaslighting,
And just breaks it down. Simple things turn into the biggest arguments in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
He was upset, because I didn't wear high heels. I was in a train accident and I couldn't wear high heels anymore because I hurt, my knee and my back. I suffered injuries from that. I'm like, it was a lawsuit. And because I couldn't wear high heels, it was a problem.
Was it just a constant thing of just picking fights? It seeming like just finding something.
He was annoying. In retrospect, it was annoying. And when I look back on it, it was just like, you're finding everything wrong. Sex.
Focus on what you got.
You want sex too much. Like, what are you talking about? That's a relationship. You want to make love to your partner. He was definitely insecure. And he projected his insecurity
on you.
They try to enslave you with the insecurity.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. I know men get the rap for that, but it's definitely just a human. You touched on one thing that I did the same. I'm going to include one thing. Take a week off social media whenever. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yes.
But
but I try.
I mean, you could check in and whatnot, but also this might finish it for you though. Go to a day spa and do it.
Yes.
Like, I spent a week off social media, so I didn't have to deal with any stress. I didn't have to deal with and I loved it. I took a couple breaks during the last couple of months because we've been building the group like crazy. And then at the end of it, we went to a day spa. Oh my God, I still feel relaxed. This is like a couple of weeks ago. I still feel great. So I would say take a week. Like I would either go to the day spa beforehand. I just recommended this to I think Taisha DeMay. Go to a day spa before you take a week off of social media and just see how your body feels. Just see how you feel mentally, because it's like it changed I don't deal with certain people anymore. Or it's like the way I deal with them is so dramatically, because like I'm usually a pretty laid back person. So when someone's getting really like up here with me, I try to dial it back down to. But usually that's more of a. Now it's like I'm already at a 2, and it's so hard to come up to that 5 for you right now. It's so hard to like, because a lot of people they really do allow their, and I'm learning this now. I'm 27. Is like they really will allow their insecurity or their own personal ego, or it's like whatever headspace they're in, and they're just trying to drag you into the. If they're very negative, now you can't do anything because they don't feel like they can do anything. Also, when they're overly ambitious and they want to climb Mount Everest, you can go off to the moon with $30 in your pocket. Just follow me, buddy. And it's like I can't. A lot of people don't like it, but it's like you have to maintain. Let's say you said you have to have your own sense of style, your own sense of voice as an author. I feel like when you're dealing with, because the industry is what I'm seeing, I'm very new. I've been writing for a long time, but I haven't been doing things properly for the entire time. So I'm very new to meeting other authors. That's one of the major reasons I wanted to do this discussion show, to meet other authors out there. What's good? How you doing? Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for talking with me. But also to like not meet shitty people. Excuse my language, you're both ladies. But like I meet great people. I meet amazing people like you two that are very hardworking, very humble, and you've earned your stripes. I also meet a lot of really just like very toxic, make you never want to write again people. So thank you too for like, it's been an amazing conversation so far. I really appreciate you sharing your experience. I want to hear more from you, Ms. Gourdine. Did I say that right?
Gourdine.
Shana.
Look, my name is hard for everybody. It's okay. I'm used to it.
Get it right before this is over. I don't want to leave today and I'm still saying your name wrong.
You won't be the first one. It's been so crazy to where they just like, can I just call you Che? I'm like, that's fine. I'm just used to it. It's fine. But with me, I mean, I understand everything she's walked through because I've actually walked through that path before I actually published my book. And what's crazy is I went through domestic violence twice. And I had to literally remove myself out of where I lived to then go somewhere else because I was being stalked. And I had kids, like they were popping up everywhere where I was at. And I had a restraining order. So it was just like, all right, and then you go to the cops with your restraining order and they're like, if they don't see no abuse, then they're not going to do anything.
That has to be right. You have to call them in the middle of the incident for them to do anything.
That too, but see, I had a restraining order to where the person had to be. They wasn't supposed to be around me nowhere. Period. No texting, no calling, no nothing. And regardless of the fact, is like they were texting me, and I went to the cops, and they was like, "Oh, well, how do you know it's that person? Just change your number." And I'm like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "All right, it's I had to figure out how I'm gonna live without switching my life, without being on the hideout for the rest of my life. I got kids. I wanted a normal life." So eventually the person got arrested. I just shifted my whole life. Like literally I moved. I kept my name, but then I had to learn how to live normal without being in fear. So I ended up publishing my book.
That's a huge, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off at all.
No, you're fine.
But it's like, it's a really short thought. What you just said, like learning how, like just because you've gone through trauma, I'm going to use myself as an example. Just because I had gone through trauma, I had a bad relationship, I had whatever kind of childhood and upbringing I did. It's not about trying to fixate people into my perspective of the world. I started meeting certain people. I started seeing their relationships. And I'm like, your relationship is nothing like mine. Like you aren't going through, like you guys might argue and you think it's bad. You guys are arguing about sugar cakes and ice cream, what you're going to eat for dinner or what kind of dessert you're going to have. You're not like going through this shit like so just learning how to relive yourself, learning how to like not even normalize but realize what healthy is again, and realize how far my personal concept for healthy was from what I was living in and what I was doing. That's all I wanted to say. I apologize for cutting you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This is why it's called the panel discussion. We're discussing. So
I can absolutely relate to her because when you said, and let me just put this in really quick because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the New York City subway system, but I was on a train one morning going to work, and I promise you, all of a sudden I'm sitting there, and I looked up and my heart, because I swore I saw him. And it's like I grabbed the person next to me, and they were looking at me like, "What's going on with you?" And I was just like, my heart just started beating, and I was just like hyperventilating because I could have sworn I saw him.
Yeah, no way to deal with that.
And then I looked up, and it wasn't him. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I don't know where the hell this hair came from. And I was just like, this is not like me. I live in New York. Yes, you have to be careful of your surroundings, but I was just, I don't know. I was like, this man has affected me to the point where every man that I see is giving me that reaction. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm taking my life back.
I think I have a theory. I'm sorry. I have a theory so hardcore right now, and it's really fucked up. It's really dark. So excuse me, you've been through it. I feel like there's a certain type of beta male that puts you through that so you won't date again. I think they try to do that and try to instill that kind of fear. I never thought about this before today, but hearing you both go through it, it's like the only reason I could identify as a dude why someone would do that, if they were insecure, if they were possessive, if they were clingy, is to scare the shit out of you to the point that you would never date another man as long as you live.
You know what beta means, right?
Huh?
You do know what beta means, right? In theory. Beta.
Live like art comes with blue pill, yeah.
You know what that is?
I'm pretty aware from my perspective. What is your perspective on it?
My perspective, beta, and that is an experimental, a trial. So you want to say beta male? That beta male is not a real man.
He's a man child.
Ding! There you go. So by being a beta male and protecting that type of attitude, that type of relationship, they say that you go through two relationships before you find the love of your life. And at this point, I'm 44 years old. So where he at?
I think it took me a little bit more.
So where's my boy?
Where he at?
Yeah.
Where he at?
He coming, sis. He coming. Look,
he
coming.
I'm not looking for him. I am securing my bag and finding my love, being so much in love with myself that a man sees me and he is just like, you are it. I found you. You are what I've been waiting for. You want a woman that can hold me up, not hold me down. I don't want anybody to hold me down because that person that said they was gonna hold me down, they pushed me down. So I don't want that.
It's crazy that they'll be quick to say,
"Oh, that mentality."
You don't worry about it. Listen, I've always been one that paid my bills, and I did get in a situation to where I got pregnant, and I couldn't pay my rent because I didn't find out after I was 5 months pregnant. I was like already in. Yeah, I was, you know how. Yeah, the whole. And it's like, all right,
you have way too much in common, girlfriend.
And it's crazy because I put my trust in somebody to think like, oh, they're gonna pay this, But I learned I can't depend on people to take care of me. I gotta take care of myself. And if you bring anything else to the table, that's fine. Now, when that happened, did I want to? Yeah. I really wanted to take care of myself, but unfortunately, I had to be out for maternity leave. And you would think the person you was with having that kid is supposed to step up, but that didn't happen.
I feel like that's kind of the overall. I think you described, because a lot of people wonder why our generation doesn't marry as much, why we break up more often, why we divorce more often, and I think seeing 2 generations back to back that had extremely abusive marriages that had people not even being able to get out of their marriage because for religious reasons or social reasons or economic reasons, like you just stated, they couldn't get out of shit. I think he really just kind of like explained it for me in a way, not even knowing that was like a mindset that people are carrying on about over and over. Like people are wondering why women are choosing to be more independent. But it's like if you saw your mother or your grandmother or someone else's aunt being emotionally and mentally abused because they don't work and they have a kid tied to this person, I don't think you ever want to deal with that again in your life unless you.
Women nowadays are. Here's the thing: the structure of the household has totally changed. Okay, women are now more independent. Men are now men have become the new bitches. Excuse my French, but
I think men are exactly the same way they've always been for centuries.
No, here's what I'm gonna say about that. Men were taught to hunt. Men were taught to bring home things and provide for the family. Now, I don't know who created this women's lib. It was before my time. Not way before my time, but I wasn't even created yet. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about women's equality. I still want a man to throw out the garbage. I still want a man to open a door for me. I still want a man to take care of his family. And that's great, grand, and wonderful that I can do it myself. But me personally, I'm a boss. I'm a boss, and I don't want to be a boss anywhere else. But when I come home, I want to be, and I can be, and I am the submissive. You want to be the head of household, you wear your pants, tighten them britches up, and you do what you're supposed to do for your family. Because I'm not going to do it. Not my requirement. It's not my chemical makeup. It's not my cultural makeup. My family's West Indian. We are programmed to have 5 jobs. Okay? No lie. I sell jewelry. I write.
What jewelry you sell? I saw paparazzi.
Yeah.
Hey, Popsy sister.
Hey. I got the hey, girl. So, I help my mom, baking. I'm a social media manager. I have a laundry list of things that I do. Why? Because I love residual income. I love waking up and knowing that I can say, I'm gonna stop doing this, but I'm gonna focus on this because I know that's gonna bring me some money. And I shouldn't have to work so hard. My dream is to move down south with my 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house, 2-car garage, and a huge library. Okay, that in a sunken den with like built into the walls library. So I can sit and I have my little office on the side. I can type my books, look out the window, and see all the little kids running around on my lawn and say, "Hey, get off of there before I kick you." That is my dream. Where
you trying to go?
Georgia.
Oh, see, I'm from South Carolina originally.
Yeah, I'm trying to go there. Texas is too hot. I love Georgia. I've been down there 1,000,001 times, and it's always been my home away from home. But going back to the structure of the family, it's kind of like men nowadays. They want too much. They want women to propose to them. They want women to buy them things. They want women to do this. I'm like where did y'all come from? Where did y'all come from? I'm sorry?
Who told you that?
Who told me what?
Who told you that's what men want?
Okay, well, that is what is perceived on social media. That is what is perceived by I've be on Twitter. I've been on Twitter since 2009, and I see men what they want. This is I want a chick like that. I want this. I want that. Yeah, men we tired of doing this. We tired of doing that. I had a conversation with somebody, and they told me, I was like, so do you ever think that, you want us to get married? And he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to propose to me. I'm sorry, what? What now?
Absolutely.
So from his mouth, he told me he's waiting for me to propose to him. It's gonna be a cold day in hell before that happens.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's not my first time at the rodeo. I have been around quite a few blocks, and not in a negative connotation. I've lived a great life. So and the men that I have encountered,
I always have to ask, when a woman starts talking about what a man wants or what men think or what men are like, I gotta once again question, what type of men were you dealing with? Because if you already know he fits your qualifications of not meeting those standards, you can't talk about all men.
I didn't say all men. I said men, and I broke it down to the men that I have encountered. Now we are not in any type of relationship. We're not in any type of relationship. I'm not one to generalize because not all men are the same. But the men that I've encountered, the men that I have seen personally, the men that I have read about, because Twitter, that's your words. Unless 3,000 or 400,000 men were hacked. Were hacked. I sit there and I observe. I'm a great people watcher. I love traveling because I love to watch people. I was sitting in the airport for an hour before my flight and watch how people act. That's how I develop my characters.
I was going to ask you, does that give you inspiration for your books?
Sure does.
That's a beautiful thing. I usually have conversations with my Uber drivers, whatever kind of wild conversations we have. Those are the type of things that I end up writing about. So we're coming up right about that time. I want to hear more from you before we go, Shay. Do you have any other thoughts in your mind? Anything else in this week that's been in your head? Do you have any questions? Because you have 2 books. Do you have any questions about the publishing industry, about marketing, or anything?
No, because I'm watching and learning, and then I have somebody that's mentoring me as well during my process. And I actually just got me a market branding manager that's helping me to learn how to market everything and doing flyers and all that, etc. I learned to step myself up. I've learned to invest in myself, and I take every couple of dollars that I can and I invested in me. I've pretty much just taken my situation, and like I said, I use it as a way of opening the doors of motivational speaking. And a lot of time I do a lot of motivational speaking about life after trauma or loving on themselves.
I'm a wolf in conversation. People describe me as a wolf in conversation. So for the past couple of years, I had to hold myself back from cutting people off when they speak, because I'm the type of person that would just jump down your throat. So I apologize for that.
You're fine.
On February 21st, I'm going to have Trey Rembrandt on the show, and Trey is about to be the future Les Brown. He's one of the most motivational, very sharp-dressed, focused young men that I've met. And there's a lot of dudes like this that I meet and I get to have conversations with. But he's one of the guys that stepped into motivational speaking. I would hope in some degree I can put you two in connection with. You see my Gourdine that made a motivational speaking, but he's doing this at a pretty
I'm willing to learn. I'm one that don't feel like it's nothing that I like to get. I like to get educated. I like to take in things, and I'm still going to be on my own wave, the way I speak and the way I deliver things. But it's always good to learn from somebody else, to hear their thoughts and how they do things.
And he's very humble. He's very new to this, so he doesn't walk around with his head hanging off his shoulders. He's a different type of breed, man. I love dudes like that. They remind me of myself. Do you have any closing thoughts for us, Ray?
For anybody that's out there that's actually wants to even be successful, or if you want to become an author, you got to take the first step and don't let fear be the reason why you don't do it. You got to get it on paper, get it out your head. Just do it.
Biggest facts. Don't. I pray for that at least once a week. God, don't let me block my own blessings. Don't let nothing block me, including myself, especially not myself. Don't let me block my own blessings.
Because a lot of times we are our worst enemies. We fight ourselves.
That's facts.
Often.
There's an amazing song by a group called Epic High That's called Fighting Ourselves. It's about relationships. It's a Korean rap group, and the entire song is basically we're in this relationship. This is so you, this is so me. And at the end of the day, we're not fighting, we're fighting our childhood, we're fighting our trauma, we're fighting our insecurities, we're fighting all through this person, we're fighting all these things. And it's like, not every situation, of course. Sometimes you gotta break up, and that's the best goddamn thing that you do for yourself.
Yeah,
but sometimes you break up and you have this kind of like, well, what if we would have did this? What if we would have got counseling? What if we would have did this? And then like just leaves you like, it's like, what, like, was it him or was it her that I lost this? Or was it me fucking up my own self? I've dated some people and they just self-sabotage. We'll have a great thing going.
Sabotage.
Or vice versa. I do the same shit. Not anymore. I've been in a peaceful, happy relationship for quite some time, over a decade now. I got a son. We're getting married soon. So we're trying to do
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And she had the same conversation that you better get down on one knee and fucking propose to me. So I understand if I had to go through that. It's you want your reservations to still be a woman. It doesn't matter if it's 2021 or 2097. I don't care. You still need reservations. If this is how you want a woman to be, this is how you have to cherish her and this is how you treat her. Miss Allison Grace, do you have any closing remarks, thoughts, ideas, questions, comments, concerns?
Do your research. Don't shortchange yourself, right from the heart.
Facts. It's poignant and it's wise. Well, thank you two so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining the Multi Collective as well. Yeah, you two became best friends.
You need to find me on Facebook, girl.
I really pray that the two of you
we need to connect because we have things similar.
Yes, girl, we do.
Yeah,
both of you need to network hardcore after this.
We do. And is your name Allison Grace on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. Because when you say it's Shana Gourdine, I'm gonna go find you.
Alrighty, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, I think he tagged me in.
You guys should both be tagging the. And once I post the video up on YouTube as well, you'll be promoted and tagged in that as well.
Yeah.
But you two should have no trouble finding each other. Thank you. I pray that both of you enjoy your Sunday.
I am. Look, I'm about to go figure out what's for dinner now and got cook for the babies.
Oh man, yeah.
I think we're having salmon tonight. I hope you enjoy it.
You said you hope, huh?
I said I hope you enjoy your dinner.
Oh, I am. I cook well. I have a culinary arts certificate too. So,
are you sure you're not West Indian?
Listen. Look, everybody think of island. I might be. You never know.
You never know, because yeah.
I was gonna say that a West African, judging by your profile pictures.
Like I said, you never know.
You never know nowadays.
Nope. I just know it's layers.
Test. I'm trying to because I think we could literally talk for the next 4 hours of our day. So I'm not gonna be.
I'm gonna be in touch with you.
Please, both of you. I'm open research. I know you're talking to her, but I'm gonna open research as well.
But I'm gonna be in touch with you too. You already on my page.
I'm gonna be here for a while. All right, I'm gonna end the broadcast real quick.
Go get my cake, I ain't taking no pay cut, but I'm wildin'. It's time to wake up, and go get my cake up, I don't break up the makeup, know that I'm out here. It's time to wake up, go get my cake up, ain't taking no pay cut,